Hey again, everybody. It's Scott Steen, host of Bank the Bet podcast, coming to you all the way from the bowels of the Winners and Winers studio complex here to talk a little bit about our Thanksgiving Day triple header. And man, it's going to be some fun. Get some turkey, watch a little football, have a little pie. Seriously, what could be better? As always, everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Facebook. And always love comments. I always try to answer the comments as quickly as I get them. So if you guys have comments about any of the picks today, whether you like them, whether you hate them, whether you're going to tail, whether you're going to fade, let me know. And if you've got different picks, let me know what those are too. As always, I don't want to hear any Monday morning handicapping. If you've got great ideas that differ from mine, that's fantastic. I want to hear about them before the game, though. All right, and I'll maybe even feature a comment or two and give you a shout out the next time we do a video. So yeah, check that out. So here we go, everybody. Our first game, our morning game, if you will, is the Detroit Lions hosting the Chicago Bears up there into the Motor City. The Bears are 3.5-point favorite, and the total on this game is 45. Tail of the tape, here we go. Chicago. Get used to hearing this number. They are 7-3 straight up, 7-3 against the number. And as far as the overs versus unders go, not a surprise. They are 7-3. Detroit Lions, on the other hand, kind of inconsistent here in Matt Patricia's first season. 4-6 straight up, 6-4 against the number, and 6-4 overs versus unders. To me, this comes down to a couple different factors. Mitchell Trubisky has really got the Bears' offense humming. They've averaged 33 points a game over their last 7 contests, including a 34-22 beatdown of the Detroit Lions in Chicago just 10 days ago. Now, let's talk a little bit about the injuries, because this is the other thing that's going to play a huge factor in this game. Detroit missing 2 huge pieces on offense. Kerryon Johnson will not play. Wide receiver Marvin Jones will not play. They're also banged up on the defensive side of the ball. As we tape this on Wednesday, we don't have a final word about who will or will not be playing on the defensive side of the ball, so keep an eye on that. They could be down a couple players there as well. On the Chicago side for injuries, one big one. Mitchell Trubisky has a shoulder injury, and there are conflicting reports about whether he's going to be able to go or not. The Bears insist everything's fine. He'll suit up and play. On the other hand, there's some people on the other side that have seen that injury, looked at it on video, and doubt his ability to snap back as quickly as the Bears insist. So keep an eye on that one. A lot of times when I give these numbers out, I encourage you to make your bet as soon as you see the video. If you did that, you got down on a couple good numbers. You got down on Green Bay -2.5 last week instead of -3. And you also got down on the Kansas City Chiefs +3.5 instead of +3, which ended up in a push. So this would be the opposite of that. I want everybody that was thinking about playing this game to keep an eye on the injury report. If you don't know, the NFL releases the list of inactives 1 hour and 15 minutes before game time, which means this should be released somewhere in the neighborhood of 10:15 Eastern time. You'll have a final word on Trubisky if you haven't heard by then. You might be able to get that number down once Trubisky's status is known. So it's possible that if Trubisky cannot go, we can get that number below the key number of 3, maybe even lay the Bears -2.5. Now, the other question becomes, who is Trubisky's backup? Mitch Trubisky's backup is a quarterback named Chase Daniel. You might remember Chase Daniel from his days at the University of Mizzou, Mizzou. As you may or may not be able to tell, I am a Mizzou alum, and Chase Daniel's season of 2007 was a magical time, as Mizzou was briefly ranked #1 in the country until they lost to Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game. Anyway, Chase Daniel will always have a special place in our hearts as Mizzou fans. Now, the other thing is, Chase Daniel, pretty good NFL backup. He's been a backup since 2008. The cool thing about Daniel, and this is what you need to know, during his 8-year career, he played 3 years in Kansas City. Who was his quarterback coach while he was in Kansas City? None other than Bears head coach Matt Nagy. So Chase Daniel knows the system like the back of his hand. He's comfortable in it. And while there will be some drop off, there's not going to be the normal chasm that there would be from the first string to the second string quarterback. I like the Bears here, even minus 3.5. If Trubisky goes, even if that number stays at 3.5, take the Bears. I think the Lions are done. They don't have anything to play for. The Bears are still fighting for their life there, although they did separate themselves a little bit from Minnesota, but that is still going to come down to a dogfight there in the NFC North. Should take the Bears, lay the 3.5. All right, on to our middle game, our afternoon game, as the Washington Redskins head to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Dallas is a 7-point favorite. 40.5 is the number there. Washington is currently leading the NFC East because, well, frankly, somebody has to. They're 6-4, 7-3 against the number, and the under has hit 6 times out of their 10 games. Dallas, on the other hand, is 5-5, 4-5-1 against the number, and they are also 4-6 overs versus unders. If you didn't see it, I wouldn't encourage you to watch it unless you have a thing for. If you really enjoyed the Joe Theismann video, then check out the Alex Smith breaking 2 bones in his leg. Very, very ugly, including a compound fracture, a spiral fracture. Great guy. Had him here in Kansas City for a long time. Better than average quarterback, but a stellar human being. Feel bad for Alex Smith as he was having some success there, having some success in Washington, and his season is absolutely done. We'll have to see what happens next season. But yeah, bad break for Alex. No pun intended, I swear to God. So now we get to see Colt McCoy. By the way, I was listening to this game on the Sirius XM, and the Washington announcers actually said that there was a large group of people in D.C. that were going to be happy that Colt McCoy was going to be playing instead of Alex Smith, which proves to me that not all the idiots in Washington serve in Congress. All right, anyone who thinks that seriously needs to rethink how they view the game of football. Let's talk about the numbers here just real briefly. Alex Smith, his career record 94, 66, and 1. He's run 193 touchdown passes versus 101 interceptions. Colt McCoy, on the other hand, as a starter, 7-18 with 27 touchdowns and 23 picks. Colt McCoy is what he is. He's a backup. He's not better than Alex Smith, and he is not an NFL starting quarterback, except he will be now for the rest of the season. So if you haven't guessed by now, I think there's going to be a lot of running in this game. The Washington run defense, everybody talks about how good they are. They're 7th in the league in yards per game. However, they're just 15th in yards per attempt, which means that teams don't run on them as much as they could. They're middle of the pack when it comes to yards per carry. I think Ezekiel Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys run early, run often, and run the ball down Washington's throat. I like this game to stay under. Washington is not going to be able to toss the ball around like they want to without Alex Smith there. They're going to realize what they have in Colt McCoy pretty fast and turn to Adrian Peterson and the running game. I like this game to stay under the total of 40.5. All right, in our nightcap, we are going to have a shootout there in New Orleans, most likely. We'll see what happens as Atlanta comes down to the Superdome to visit the Saints. New Orleans is a 13-point favorite, and the total on that one, it's 60. It's 60. Pretty soon we'll be able to say that without any drama. But for now, there's still a little bit of a pause when we say the over-under in an NFL game is 60. Now, tail of the tape, here we go. Atlanta's 4-6 overall, 3-7 against the number, and the over has hit 6 of their 10 games, while New Orleans 9-1, 8-2 against the spread. Total is 5-5. New Orleans has been absolutely on fire lately. They're averaging 37.8 points per game, good for first in the NFL. Atlanta, no slouch, by the way. They're 9th in the league with 26.3 points per game. New Orleans has been even better lately. Drew Brees is just a machine, as the Saints have averaged 48 points per game in their last 3 contests. And here's a little fun fact that you may or may not know. Third best rushing defense in the NFL? It's New Orleans. You know what Atlanta doesn't do well? Run the football. They're just 22nd in the league in rushing, averaging just 4.1 yards per carry. I think this game goes up and over the total of 60. Yeah, I don't love 60, but I can't be afraid of it, especially after watching that game Monday night. You know, I don't think they put a hundy up, but I think that game goes comfortably over the total of 60. By the way, if any of your friends still try to insist that defense wins championships, you can tell them they're absolutely full of crap. doing a little research on this game. Here's a fun fact. 6 of the top 7 offenses, as far as scoring goes in the NFL, are currently leading their division. What about defense? Of the top 10 defenses, only 3 are division leaders, and 2 of them also have outstanding offense. Houston is the only outlier who is currently getting it done with defense. So, the trick for a defense is one thing and one thing only. They only have to keep the other team from scoring more points than their offense does. I know that sounds basic, it sounds stupid, but if your offense is incredibly prolific, scoring at a rate of almost 2/3 of a point a minute, somewhere in that neighborhood, you don't have to have much of a defense. You just have to have a defense that's good enough, and I think that's the trend in the NFL. I think it's going to continue until the pendulum swings back the other ways and defenses figure out how to adjust it. Basically, Kansas City, New Orleans, Los Angeles, the offenses they're running right now, they're unschemable, okay? As a defensive coordinator, you can only hope to slow these guys down. You can only hope that they make mistakes because what they're running, the motion, the misdirection, and the subterfuge, the creative play calling, they're unschemable for defenses, okay? Offenses, the NFL wanted offense. Well, by golly, they got it. So we're going to see some points scored. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot of points scored in this game. So until tomorrow, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, to all my U.S. viewers, to all the viewers across the world. If you're not happen to be in the United States, happy Thursday. Either way, hey, watch some football. Eat a bunch of turkey. Finish it off with a slice of pie. Hopefully, we'll go 3-0. We can gather up those tickets, and you and I, we can head back to the window. This is Scott Steen. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. You guys take care. We'll see you tomorrow.